Listen, 2020 changed the way I watch TV. I watch TV in the summertime, and I binge watch all of it. I made the mistake of starting to watch 1923 because I knew my dad was going to spoil it for me. And now I'm like, is it ever going to be Sunday again so I can watch 1923? Like, I feel like it's like too drawn out versus like I watched all of season 1, White Lotus. Now I'm on season 2. Like, now I've got time to binge things like 2-3 episodes at a time, and it's not as agonizing.
Agonizing is a big word. You have time. How do you have time to binge things? You're always traveling.
You watch them on an airplane. You just download them to your iPad, or like Brett goes to bed at 8 o'clock, so I watch it from like 9 to 11. I don't know. There's plenty of time for me to watch.
Why does Brett go to bed at 8 o'clock?
I don't know. He's like that guy that like sticks his face in the bowl of ice water in the shower. Yes, he does that. Yes, he has that weird nose bridge thing too that I make fun of him about. He says it helps him breathe better. I do the mouth tape thing at night. He does not. And I'm not very good at it because I keep ripping it off in the middle of the night, probably thinking I'm suffocating and why I'm having crazy dreams.
You think he goes to bed at 8 o'clock just because he needs a break from you?
Probably.
Like he just has to like, I gotta get
away
from this chick. I'm going to go to the bedroom.
He is the guy that complains that we spend no quality time, but then tells me how fucking annoying I am the entire time we're together.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're annoying. I think you're a little unfair to him sometimes. I think you're a little unfair.
Is this a therapy session?
I don't think you're annoying. No, it's not a therapy session. It's my opinion. So you're coming here when? You're coming here on the day
morning of the national championship. I'll be there at like 8:45 a.m. You won't even be at work yet by the time I'm at the Westgate SuperBook.
I'm off on Mondays.
But you're not going to be off because of the national championship.
I wasn't planning to come in. You want me to come in? Why?
You don't have to come in. I don't care. I don't need you here.
You don't need me here?
No, I don't need you there. I can go check into my hotel and get situated at the book all by myself.
I wouldn't be much help checking into the hotel. Now you're going to watch the game here at the Westgate, but then in the subsequent days to that, you're going to be filming some videos. Is that your plan?
Well, I think we're going to do a live Kelly and Murray probably on Tuesday at some point in time, right? Don't you think? It's Masters week, right?
They said Wednesday morning. That'd be Wednesday the 9th.
Or Wednesday morning. My schedule is a lot more available. And then you mentioned we are going to do the contest videos. You guys have a myriad of contests that are coming out this year that Brett did not believe me when I said you guys have a $5,000 Survivor. He goes, no, it's 500. I go, it's 5,000. I can read the email.
Well, yeah, it's not actually out there yet, but that is certainly the plan.
Well, it's out there now.
Right. We've been doing a $5,000 pick'em contest for years. Why is that so hard to believe?
I get it. So the Super Contest Survivor Gold, is that basically what it is?
I'll let the marketing people name it, but it's a Survivor contest with a $5,000 buy-in.
Wow.
18 weeks.
I will probably not be participating in that. Okay. That sounds like my version of hell when I go out week 1. That's the year I go out week 1 is the week that I enter the $5,000 Survivor.
Well, I think what you'll get a lot of is people teaming up with other people. I mean, I understand that a lot of people have $5,000. It's not that much money for them, but I do think there'll be a lot of people that team up with one another. 200 entries is all you need to get to $1 million prize, which I think is hopefully is going to be gettable. But I know you're more excited about a college contest, right? That's more your cup.
Well, I ran a college contest last year on Splash, and then no dogs decided to show up all season long, and I just got my ass.
Now you're confusing people, kid. I was talking about a college pick'em contest, not a Survivor contest.
No, I know. Okay. Not only that in our Survivor, but I did an ATS one, if you remember, for $500 with those guys. Yeah. And my buddy Mark placed in the top 3. I was really happy for him, but I got my ass kicked. So prior to last year, I would have been really excited for a college football contest. But are dogs ever going to win again? Are dogs ever going to win again?
Well, if this is
NFL, college football, college basketball.
We don't need him to win. We need him to cover. We need him to cover.
Anything. I just need them to do something.
Why don't you just bet the favorites?
Yeah.
Why don't you just bet the favorites?
Yeah, I did. Remember the opening round? I bet Mizzou and Kansas. That was cool.
Let's talk about the opening week. Well, first of all, let's start there. How'd you do? Oh, I didn't feel like you were that jumpy, at least via text.
I was on a roller coaster ride, that's for sure. First day,
life is a roller coaster ride. You you're a human roller coaster ride.
I don't think so.
I don't know how Brett does it. You know,
I don't think I'm that up and down. I think I'm like I hover between like a 5 and an 8 at any point in time. Like you rarely ever see me be a 10. You're never going to see me be a 1.
Out of the scale, like out of 3, and you hover between a 5 and an 8. You think
1 to 10. I'm like a 5 to 8. I'm never too high. I'm never too low.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. You're not a 5.
I like my lowest. That's like a 5.
All right. I got off track. That's my fault. How did you do opening weekend, kid? Tell me.
I was on a roller coaster ride. It was just like I just couldn't get anything going. I had a couple of dogs that were just really frustrating in the second half. Then I had Colorado State.
Who were the dogs you had in the second half?
Like, good question. God damn it, John Murray. Stop making me work so hard. I try to put these things out of my memory so that like I don't have to remember all of my bad beats. Hold please. Let me pull back in my handy dandy notebook.
You have a mind like a steel trap like mine. I remember everything. I remember every game. I remember everything.
So I had 2 teams that were well for me. I had Georgia, awful, just awful pick. That was like the worst pick ever. KU loses outright, just awful. Oklahoma, garbage. I had Arizona, that was nice and easy against Akron. I had Wofford, that was great. I had Texas Tech, that was great. And then I had Mizzou. So that was the opening round.
Wofford? I know I just said I had a mind like a steel trap, but who did Wofford play? Tennessee. Okay, I forgot about that game.
Yeah. Then I had BYU over Wisconsin, which was great.
Yep. That was close. That was a close one.
Okay, but I didn't feel like I think BYU almost tried to give it away at the end, but like in the first half, I felt very confident about it. I never once felt awful about that game. Gotcha. Let's see. What else did I have? I had McNeese on Saturday. That was stupid.
Okay.
Really stupid, thinking that they could win back-to-back games.
You think you're too hard on yourself?
Art had A&M. Ugh, that was awful.
Don't involve Art in your losing. Don't bring him into your.
He gave it to me, and I agreed, and it was awful. Okay, so then on Sunday, I had Colorado State, which should have won outright, did not. I had Ole Miss, who did win outright, thank God. But I had to sweat Florida like I have not sweat in a long time. That was painful. I had Florida first half. Oh my God.
I feel
like having immediate regret.
I feel like you sweat something super hard like every other day. Like, what do you mean?
No.
Yeah, you do. You're always on
Not
edge.
to that extent. Not where I'm like leaving my house to find somewhere else to be.
Right now. I feel tension as we speak. So let's talk about. Let me give you some highs and lows because all the people on TikTok like when I talk about how good we did on stuff, you know. So I'll just list all the good and all the bad, and then by listing the bad, that's also complaining apparently. Good. Here's a good one. Handle for the 4 days was up almost 35% year over year. That was awesome. So when you get an event like March Madness, you just want to have a lot of volume because you got so many parlays and teasers and other bets that you just want to have as much handle as you possibly can have. That was really good. The thing that makes me laugh every year about March Madness is it's only in the first round. This only happens on Thursday and Friday, and March Madness is the only event of the year that this happens in. For some reason, everyone talks themselves into these underdogs. I don't know what it is. Like they see the bracket.
Why do you think I bet 2 favorites?
They think they're being smart, and sometimes they are. But our biggest wins of the first round were High Point not covering against Purdue, Yale not covering against A&M, and the biggest one was Grand Canyon not covering against Maryland on Friday. I did a radio show Thursday, and they asked me, like, who's everybody betting tomorrow? And I said Grand Canyon, and it took me a second. I couldn't remember who they were playing because I don't think I'd seen Maryland's name on my betting ticker the whole week. And I told people that story, and they got all, like, sensitive, acting like I was saying it meant only squares were on it. All the wise guys bet Grand Canyon, too.
That like 13.
I know, but they lost by 30 points. So it's the only, or whatever, 20 points. It's the only event I see all year where everybody talks themselves into the same underdogs. And our biggest wins, we did really well on Thursday and Friday. And our biggest wins were all big favorites covering big numbers. It's very strange. So Saturday we did well. Sunday, awful. This will be a good clip for TikTok. I want to cry about Sunday. So we really needed one of these teams to lose. Florida, Maryland, who lost on a buzzer beater, or Michigan State. They all won outright. And then the Arizona game landed exactly 4. So the Arizona landing on exactly 4 was like the worst possible outcome for us. That was the last game of the weekend. And it was just, they beat Oregon. Oregon got out to a big lead in that game.
I went to bed. It was 17-4. I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna watch 1923 and go to bed. And then I woke up and they covered by a hook. And I said, okay.
Did you go to bed or watch 1923?
I watched 1923 in bed and then went to bed.
So that must have bothered Brett, because I feel like he's seeking some quiet time in the room. And then you come in, you're all pissed about the dumb Arizona game, and then you throw on the show. That poor guy.
I rarely say anything. He doesn't ask me how the games are going. I don't think he cares.
He doesn't care. Yeah, Sunday was tough, but I was happy with the handle increase. I was happy with the first 3 days. I was happy that Kelly and I and our two lovely social media guys, John Hoagland, the unit, and Louis D'Onofrio, advanced in the Splash Sports $1 Million Survivor. We're alive to the Sweet 16. What do we have to do in that one? We've got to pick one team on Thursday, one team on Friday.
Yeah, and then we go to doubles. So let me see where we're at. Entries.
If you go to double on Saturday, that means you got to pick both games. At that point there's only 2 games left. Or 2 games.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, holding.
Okay, there it is. All right, so there's 1 million. Okay, here's in the million. Stats. There are only 972 people eliminated. Wow. But 23 people missed their pick.
The favorites won every game this weekend.
Well, yeah. So 2,200 people had Maryland. That should have lost.
Yeah, true.
Come on. That's ridiculous.
Well,
that was the most picked in round 4. That's ridiculous.
That's why it makes March Madness so funny to me, is like the favorites did so well this weekend. And everybody was talking about, like, has NIL ruined the Cinderella teams and all the transfer fans. Every team that's alive in the Sweet 16 is out of one of the 4 major conferences. There's no real Cinderellas left. And the only reason we did well on the first round games is because everybody talks themselves into the same dogs. You know, we really didn't do well on parlays or moneyline parlays. Of
course you didn't. Everybody just parlayed Duke, Arizona, Houston, Auburn, like every monster favorite.
Oh, I saw some big moneyline parlay tickets out there. They pretty much all won. You know, so it was a very tough week for
and then your big house guy right there at the end of the Florida game. All Florida had to do was play defense. White boy for UConn bangs down a 3. Yeah. That was probably pretty painful because I know I faded him and bet the under, so that sucked.
Okay. He bet the over?
Yeah. Art sent it to me and said,
okay.
Here's one of our house players bet the over, for a sizable amount. And I
remember big money on the dog in that game, on UConn in that game. I thought, so what do you think of Dan Hurley?
Do you really want to know? I think he's a crybaby. I think his crybabiness overshadows what a great coach he is, because he throws such fits in public. And then he's like mad that somebody's recording him. Trust me, I would also like to act like an asshole in public, but everybody has one of these now. And you
would like to do that, or do you think that you already know?
Come on.
So I definitely thought Alex Caravan got fouled on that drive. I mean, he did get fouled.
Okay.
Absolutely got fouled. So they were up by 2. He drives the rim. He gets hacked. No call for reasons that are hard to figure. And then Florida 3, they go up by 1. And then from there, you got to give Florida credit. They took the game over. But if they call that foul,
but here's the reality. Florida would have never been losing that game if they just made any of their free throws. Yeah, the refs gave some good whistles their way, but it's not like they made their free throws anyway.
I saw one call. I don't know. I'm sure Danny Hurley was watching the game closer than me, but I saw I saw a very critical sequence when UConn was up by 2. Caravan goes to the rim. He gets fouled for sure. No call. If he makes both free throws there, and he's like an 85% free throw shooter, UConn goes up by 4 late in the game. They might be in the Sweet 16. So but I just thought I wanted to get you going on Danny Hurley. That's all I cared about.
Listen, there are plenty of coaches who would love to bitch about the refs, but they just keep their mouth shut. Like, you're a great coach. You have back-to-back national titles. Mm-hmm. I get it. You're pissed off. So save it for when the cameras aren't rolling.
Do you think Dan Hurley would go back in time and take the Laker job if he knew that the Mavericks were going to just give them Luka Doncic for nothing? I have to think yes. Because like the whole hard part of being in the NBA as a head coach is acquiring a superstar is what I'm trying to say.
Is to have to deal with LeBron?
Well, I mean, that probably was a factor. Is like, I'm going to have to coach this guy for the last 2 or 3 years of his career. He is the puppet master. He controls everything behind the scenes. What a nightmare. But if they told him, hey, no, actually, you're going to have Luka Doncic, who's 25 years old, and he'll be the face of the franchise for the next decade, I got to think Hurley takes the job if he knew that. Who knows?
And maybe if he knew his team wasn't going to be as good this year. I mean, lots of hindsight.
As good as the team that won the last 2 national championships. Yeah.
Listen, obviously he thought he was going for a 3-peat. I know a lot of UConn fans that thought that they were, and I thought they were crazy.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna get you going again. I'm gonna get you up from the 5 to an 8. You think so? You were on Twitter a lot, X, a lot this weekend, making fun of the SEC. The SEC got 7 teams into the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Isn't that like extremely good? I
didn't say it's not good. I'm just saying, like, I can already hear the excuses for why Florida lost. Here's the problem. It's like one excuse after another with this fan base. I'm sorry. I'm not a Big 12 fan. No one should be a Big 10 fan. No one should be an ACC fan. That's loser behavior. But all of these people are like somehow SEC fans because their team got knocked out of the play-in game. Like, it's ridiculous. So all I was doing is making fun of them for finding an excuse as to why Florida lost as almost a 10-point favorite.
But they didn't lose. They won.
Thank God. But I was just kind of throwing it out there because I was already so frustrated that I didn't throw any money on UConn as a partial hedge because Florida I just didn't think UConn was going to win the game. And I guess I probably should have taken some of the 9.5.
They got 7 teams into the Sweet 16. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and now they're going to have at best 6 because 2 of them have to play each other.
2 of them are playing each other in one of the games. You are ridiculous. I was gesturing at Johnny, our social media guy there. He's laughing about you. He's laughing.
SEC teams are only 500.
Yeah, but he's a Mizzou fan, and the other producer's Mizzou as a Gamecocks fan, and it's like they each try to mush my Florida pick with UConn because he's from Connecticut. Like, I can't with all this like fake fan base shit. Like,
fake fan base is from Connecticut. How's that fake? The kid is from.
Okay, but then you're cheering for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Like, pick a team. You don't get to have like all of these teams or an entire conference. Like, just shut up.
Let's I'm going to confront you about this on the show. You were going to fire Louis.
Fuck yeah, I was.
What about
mushed? He straight up mushed. You don't do that shit.
Am I have to show?
I want you to know. Pre-show last week, he came on here and bitched about his dad and how his dad mushed a play of his, and then turns around and does it to me.
I've been talking to Mr. D'Onofrio a little bit. He's coming out here for my golf event next month. He's a fine guy. And I don't care if he mushed one of Louis Jr.'s picks, but you can't fire anybody without my permission.
I can do whatever I want.
What are you talking about?
You don't understand. I can do whatever I want.
Kelly and Murray. It's Kelly. I'm 50%, man. You can't fire these kids. I love these guys.
I think you're 49%. I'm 51, but that's okay. Well,
I gotta look.
I gotta stop splitting hairs here.
I gotta look at my contract. All right, I got you going on the SEC. I did it because I got to give myself my own personal laughs. That's what the show is about, making me laugh. Do you want to talk about this weekend, the Sweet 16, the Elite 8? I know everybody cries about there not being any upsets, including me. It's why we got killed on Sunday. But now the good thing is this weekend's games are awesome. Don't you think? I mean, it's a pretty good.
Fair enough. It's not like we have like some Cinderella team in there that's exciting to watch. And I don't think we'll see one for a long time. But yeah, from a basketball perspective, yeah, it's going to be must-watch TV.
I think people need to let's let this play out a little bit more before we completely write off all Cinderellas because the NIL era. Let's let this happen for a couple of seasons. Are you sure? I mean, Colorado
But then
State,
how do you go back? You don't go back. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Colorado State was one play away from winning on Sunday. I mean,
Yeah, but I wouldn't call them a Cinderella. They're in the Mountain West. I know it's not a Power 5, but the Mountain West is a pretty good basketball conference.
That's true. Not in the tournament.
Remember, San Diego State was in the Final Four a couple of years ago. So,
they were in the championship game. You believe that?
Oh, yeah, you're correct. They were in the championship game.
They beat Florida Atlantic on a buzzer beater.
Yeah, because I had them in my Calcutta. I remember.
Let's go to Thursday. First, I want to talk about how we are doing all of the Sweet 16 games at minus 108 juice here at the SuperBook. So on the side. So minus 108 juice for the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight on the day of the game. So let's just rip through the 4 games Thursday. Arizona, wait, hold on. Let me go in chronological order. BYU, Alabama is the first game Thursday. Sharp money on Alabama. Took that number from 4.5 up to, we're sitting at 5.5 right now. Then you got Maryland, Florida. This is the most lopsided game of the 8 games in the round. All the tickets, all the money on Florida. We're going to need Maryland huge. That's a funny thing about the tournament where, like, Friday we needed Maryland so big. And then Sunday we desperately needed Maryland to lose to Colorado State. And now tomorrow night, Thursday night, Maryland will be our biggest need for sure. So you roll.
Yeah, you're saying sharps and square, like nobody's on Maryland?
Everybody's on Florida.
Fuck, that is not good for me.
And I'll give you this, very sharp play in that game did come in over 155.5. Maryland, Florida game, over 155.5. The late games, Arizona, Duke. I think Duke is the biggest favorite of the round. We have got Duke minus 9.5. Ticket count's about 3-1 on that game. Nothing I'd call sharp. And then Arkansas, Texas Tech is a cool game. Texas Tech is really good.
Yeah, I love Texas Tech.
They're tough, man. Arkansas.
Which is kind of why. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's stop really quick. This is kind of why I don't think I want to
stop. I was on a roll.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your Texas Tech thought.
Arkansas probably had the most impressive weekend of any team, beating Kansas and St. John's.
Outright wins, yeah.
That was also our best result of the second round. Was Arkansas beating St. John's. It killed a lot of parlays from Saturday's games. Also, it got St. John's out of the future pool. That was really good for us. I don't really have much to say on this game. I do think Arkansas will be a semi-popular dog, though. I do think Arkansas getting 5.5 will be a pretty popular dog pick. Now, go on your rant.
No, my best bet's Texas Tech. But the reason why I think I'm not going to hedge my Florida future. Mm-hmm. Now, I know I can take Maryland plus the points, right? And I probably should have taken UConn plus the points to some extent. So I have a dime.
It's easy to say that
I don't know. I was thinking it 5 minutes into the game, frankly, but
okay.
I digress. So I have Florida for a dime at 40-1. I have Texas Tech for a dime at 30-1. I don't think both of them are losing in this round.
Okay. I don't either.
So it's like I'll still have one alive, and then I'll still have Houston possibly alive.
Do you feel like you're gonna behave yourself tomorrow? Both those games are the same night. Yeah. I mean, are you gonna be like on edge? If I was Brett, I probably would leave.
You're right. I got to cancel my chiropractor appointment. I forgot. I usually go Thursday nights. I can't go because the game's going to be on. Hold on. I need to tell her. Sorry, I cannot.
Right now, you can't tell her after the show?
No, I got to tell her now. The Gator game is on during that time.
So it's probably another 20-ish. Okay, and then we have we
usually have. Sorry, I can't come. I got the Gator games on. I got since the
20 more
could you imagine me trying to sit in a quiet chiropractor's office, getting your neck fucking not being straight? You're supposed to be relaxed. I already have trouble doing that and trying to watch the Gator game on my phone. No.
First game Friday is probably so far the least bet game of the round. Ole Miss, Michigan State. Michigan State's a 3.5-point favorite in Atlanta. Not really anything good to say about that game. Tennessee, Kentucky is the first game in Indianapolis. Sharp money on Kentucky plus 4.5. Tennessee, though, Tennessee had a pretty impressive weekend themselves. They really took care of UCLA. I think that was on Saturday night. That was an impressive win. But Kentucky was a team that went off as a dog in the 3-6 game against Illinois, they handled Illinois pretty easily. There's a pretty good matchup here. I know Kelly thinks this conference stinks, but I think Kentucky, Tennessee's a pretty good game. Kentucky, the sharp side there. Michigan, Auburn. Now remember, Auburn is the team that I said if they win the national championship, I can finally ride off into the sunset. You know, I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to do this silly show. I can just go.
You do not have that much money on Auburn. Stop.
Auburn.
What do you have on Auburn? Do you have a dime bet on Auburn?
I have $1 million at 12-1. $1 million. No, Auburn's a 9-point favorite. Auburn, probably the most evenly bet game of the week on the point spread. The ticket counts are almost dead even, but of course, like we talked about, Auburn money line is in every parlay. And if the favorites win on Thursday, then it's going to move over into Friday night, into Auburn, and then into the last game, Purdue and Houston in Indianapolis. Houston -8. All I really have to say on that game is all the money line parlays are going to close with Houston. And we did see very sharp money under 133 in the Purdue-Houston game. That's Friday night, setting up a regional final on Sunday potentially. Could be Houston, Tennessee. Is that right? That'd be hell. That'd be
yeah, I think Houston will make Rick Barnes' life very hell. They just don't play complete basketball. Yes, they have over the last 2 games, but they are so frustrating. If they're down big at half to Kentucky, I'll be on Tennessee though. Here's my question. So the left side of the bracket, let's just assume Duke is the winner of the game versus Arizona, and then they beat either Alabama or BYU, right?
Yep, I think that's very likely.
Let's assume Florida wins and Texas Tech wins. Then they play each other, so that knocks out one of my futures bets automatically. What?
Well, it also advances one of your future bets automatically.
Correct. So here's my question, though. Florida is going to be what? A 3.5 point underdog to Duke?
Yeah, I think that was one of our mailbag questions.
Oh, I haven't looked at them. Shocker.
But no, that seems a little high, though. I mean, I think.
You think so? What do you think Texas Tech would be to Duke, though?
I think it's more
5
like
or 6.
Well, you should definitely root for Florida because don't you have another 10,000 on that? And 10,000 to win, I mean?
No, I've got
I thought you said you had 1,000 at 40 to 1 and 1,000 at 30 to 1.
No, I have Texas Tech at 30 to 1.
That's what I'm saying. That's why Florida's so much more valuable for you because
yes, but I also have more. I have more on Florida because CT's kid, I won the $250 from the baby shower. And then I looked at another account. I have another dime on Florida at 9 to 1.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'll win a lot more on Florida. But I want to look at my current cash out really quick. Hold on. I got to see what my cash out is for Florida.
Get me in trouble.
Upcoming. 250 to win 2,000. CT's newborn son has on Florida at 7 to 1.
Can I guess what their offer is to you?
Yes.
250 to win 2,000. That's 7 to 1. So they're probably offering you I bet they're offering.
It's worse than you think it is. I'll give you that hint.
I bet you they're offering you 280.
425. Before the UConn game, they were offering me 400. So they gave me another $25. I wish I was joking.
425. That's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I was joking with 280, but I really am surprised it's over 400.
Okay, so did you see the tweet where Hard Rock tagged me in it and they said what would you do? And I'm like, let me set this clear. I would not hedge.
Why did they tag you in it? Are they trying to lure you?
Because I live in Florida and I bet there. I talk to them every once in a while. They seem like cool guys. Okay. They're my only legal out, so I should probably converse with them in case somebody shows up at my door.
I don't have anything shows up at your door. What, to murder you or to hire you?
No, I'm talking about the feds.
Oh, the feds. Oh, that's much worse. I missed that. That
one went over your head. So anyway, they're my only legal book that I can bet at in the state of Florida. So I'm like, it's the only book you bet rapport with them in case I need them to say, "Oh yeah, she's great." she bets.
So therefore, it's the only place you bet, obviously, right? Okay, so go on.
Anyway, they tagged me and a bunch of other people in this tweet. It was like, "What would you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I can tell you what I wouldn't do. I sure as wouldn't hit the cash out button. And Brown was like, you probably shouldn't say that. And I'm like, no, I should absolutely say that because I would say the same thing to John Murray at the SuperBook. You do not hit the cash out button. But I also want to make it clear, I wouldn't hedge against Arizona either. I wouldn't. I would just let it ride. You have Duke at 11-1. They're offering you $48,000 cash out versus you're going to make over like $100 and some $1,000. No. Don't hit the cash out button.
Wait, what was the exact bet? Tell me the exact
bet. Okay, so let me
I
find
didn't see this tweet. You
haven't seen this tweet? It's got like 1 million views. What do you mean? People, the kids in the comment section are so bad at math. And this is coming from somebody who got a D in college algebra. These kids are so bad at math.
Are you that surprised that I didn't see a tweet? What the hell do I care?
Because it was a really big tweet. 651,000 views. So I said, do not cash out. Hedge to guarantee yourself a profit if that's what you want to do. So it says,
was the bet? What was the bet?
I'm telling you, all-time cash out or let it ride scenario. He has Tennessee to win the baseball World Series. They won. The Dodgers to win the World Series. They won. The Ohio State Buckeyes to win the college football playoff. And the Philadelphia Eagles to win.
This is one ticket?
Yeah, to win. You can't see it. It's white. But anyway, yeah. So it's one ticket. And then now he has Duke at 11-1.
Oh, my God.
So right now, the $5 wager will pay $168,300. Their early cash out is $49,000.
I mean,
I get that $49,000 is a lot of money for somebody who bets $5. But like, I would be trying to figure out a way to hedge that. And I would not hedge versus Arizona. Full disclosure, I would not. I would wait. But you're going to get plus money against Tech. You're going to get plus money against Florida. You'd get big plus money against BYU. You're going to get a little bit of plus money with Alabama. You're going to get, no matter who Duke plays.
It's hard to say, like, because I've had these conversations come up before. And everybody's like, well, you should hedge X amount of money. You're assuming that the people have access to that kind of money.
I understand that, but the answer is not to cash out, though.
I understand that, but you can't necessarily say, "Oh, get to the Final Four and then bet 80,000 against." I mean, because what if you don't have 80,000 to bet with?
I understand that, but now you have an opportunity right now to say, "Okay, I've got time to figure out if somebody's got money." I would be doing a lot of things if I was that guy to try to figure out how to find. I'd be calling grandma. I'd be calling my favorite aunt. I'd be like, who has, and here's the scenario. And I would have it on a spreadsheet. I would say, here's how we cannot lose. If Duke wins, I win this and I will pay you back this. You can take out a small loan.
Like a Ponzi scheme. Sounds like a Ponzi scheme. Because you're getting your family involved and there's like.
Listen, if I told my dad right now I needed 50 grand, that I was guaranteed to win $160,000 if Duke won the whole thing and I needed 50 grand so that I could hedge over the next 4 games, I would have that money by the end of the day. And my dad is not a wealthy man.
I don't even know where to begin. But I don't think this kid should hedge. I think so Duke plays the winner of BYU.
But you definitely don't think he should cash out. That's my whole point.
Oh, no, he shouldn't early cash out. No, don't do that. Do not do that. But then at the same time, it's like this guy with a click of a button could turn $5 into 49 grand. But he shouldn't do it.
But that's what they want you to do because it's going to save the sportsbook like 18 grand.
He should not do that. He should not. He should definitely let it ride. But that's up to him. And why are you getting involved in some social media beef? Do you want to do your mailbag segment?
I don't even have it open. Do we actually have to answer these mailbag questions? It's the same guys every single week.
But they're mostly about soccer.
Like nobody else participates, and it's really frustrating.
They're mostly about soccer, though.
Great. Okay. T.S. Finky, who asks a question every single week, we appreciate you. With Liverpool season all but over, will John Murray be getting out on the links more, or is it just grinding away with the Nationals in his office?
Yeah. God damn it. I can't believe they lost to PSG. Thanks a lot, T.S. Finky. I was having a fun day, you dick. But now we're out of the Champions League. Liverpool's still playing Premier League football. It's not over yet. But I am ready for baseball. You know, I was talking to your good friend, Ariel Epstein, this morning. We were talking about season futures for baseball. National season starts tomorrow.
I offered to bankroll her in your contest. One of my buddies is like, "Hey, do you want to go?"
$200.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said, "Hey, I got a buddy out there who's like
Oh,
gonna give us a free roll.
Big shot.
We just have to like circle." And I sent her the list, and she blew me off.
I was talking to her all morning about baseball futures. Maybe that's a personal thing. Yeah. Well, I'll start playing. I got my golf event at the end of April, the Bro-Am. But no, I'm mostly still working. We're still busy, man. I mean, this is a big weekend. We got Sweet 16. We got Elite 8. We got Christian Laettner coming to the Westgate on Saturday at 1:30 for a Q&A. Christian Laettner may be the most hated man in the history of the NCAA tournament and one of the most successful players in the history. He played in the Final Four times, this guy. Won 2 national championships. It was pretty awesome. So that's pretty cool. You're not impressed? Cool. You're not impressed with that?
I would say I'm impressed. Turtle Sports on IG says, any early sharp action on the Masters?
I'd have to ask Wes. You know Wes Reynolds? I think that guy.
No, all I know is your email is still just going off. I DM'd the producer. I'm like, can somebody help him? Can we just hit a mute button?
People send me stuff. Rory McIlroy has been bet down from 14-1 to plus 650. Do you think that's sharp? I mean, could you actually bet on Rory to win a major after what happened at the U.S. Open last summer?
No.
I don't think I could either. But Rory did. He did just win the Players couple of weeks ago, and
now that all of his drama in his life is over, maybe he can. Remember, he was going to divorce his wife, and then he wasn't going to divorce his wife, and then other people all got divorces, and then he didn't. And I'm like, so were the fair rumors true? I don't know.
DeChambeau's been bet down from 25-1 to 18-1 here at the Westgate. I think Colin Morikawa has been a popular guy too. He's been taking Colin Morikawa. Masters next week.
All right, David, with all the numbers behind him, the SEC fan guy. Cal, since you're from the Corn Belt, how many SEC teams will be invited to the World Series in Omaha this year? Do you think 16 would be a gouge? Let's say
that's probably the funniest question we've ever got. That is a really funny question. Like that, I think that's the funniest question we've ever had on the show.
Why is it so funny?
Because he's saying that the World Series, the College World Series, should just be the 16 SEC teams.
Okay, great. Futures Bets on IG says, what is the line for Duke versus Florida if they meet in the final game? They'd meet in the Final Four.
Yeah. Duke, what'd you say, 3.5? That maybe you're right. That seems a little high to me. I was thinking more like 2.5, 3. But okay. I don't know. I mean, Duke's power rating is really high.
I know. And I'm very high on Florida, so I thought I'd be a little down on Florida.
You could be right. Kelly.
What about versus Texas Tech?
Another 2 to 3 points sounds about right.
No way. Florida, Texas Tech is not going to be a pick'em the week before.
No, I said another 2 to 3 points. So like Duke.
Okay. So I have 6.5. I said 3.5 and 6.5.
Well, I mean, that seems about right. I don't have any of those websites in front of me, but that seems about right off the top of my head.
Okay. 01TK1 on X says, Mr. Murray, have the recent EFL Cup loss and Champions League elimination tarnished the probable Liverpool victory in the EPL? By the way, Kelly, you are wrong and never enough soccer talk.
It's true. There's never enough soccer talk. Good question. This guy.
Like, go watch some English guys talk about soccer. I mean, there's it's the most popular sport in the world. There's plenty of people that talk about it every day. I don't think we need to.
I can't believe they lost the Champions League. But yeah, they should hang on, win the Premier League. They're like minus 1,000. No, I'm sorry, minus 10,000 to win the Premier League. So if they win the Premier League, you can't really complain about the season.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to win the Premier League if they're minus 10,000.
Well, they are now. At the start of the year, they were not supposed to win the Premier League. It was supposed to be a couple other teams that bottled the season. Next question.
Boise Wrigley on X says, KIV, my favorite sport. Thank God baseball is back. Regarding regular season's futures, I tend to lock them up early spring training, which way is the best way to manage your bankroll? A John Murray type bankroll, a couple of division futures, and 4 or 5 season win totals.
So he's saying like a regular man, a working man's bankroll, not like a celebrity bankroll like you.
I have 3 futures bets.
Right.
Boston Red Sox to win the World Series, Nationals over, and Reds over. That's all I got.
I think you'd be much better off playing win totals than division futures. The holds, the takeout, the sportsbook takeout, and division future is a lot higher than a win total. And I've said before on the show, I don't know of any future bet you could make in a sport where you'll get a truer result than a baseball win total. Over the course of 162 games, if you're right, you're probably going to win. If you're wrong, you're probably going to lose. It's not like a college football win total where they play 12 games. If there's one fluky result, that could swing the whole bet. Over the course of 162 games, unless
like the University of Kansas have had like 6 fluky games where they should have won every single one of them and then still lost.
Unless you just get crazy injuries, you're probably going to win. And then Kelly and I last year, we bet the Indians over wins. Their ace pitcher has Tommy John the first week of the season, and they still went over. So you're probably going to get a pretty true result on a baseball win total. Those are probably my favorite season bets to make.
Okay. Bets Bald on X says, when will the sportsbook start posting Kentucky Derby odds winners?
We have it up. We have the Derby up right now. There's some big stakes races this weekend. There were some big races last weekend.
Didn't we just have the Florida Derby? I'm confused. I'm behind, I think.
Journalism looks like the favorite. I can't pretend I know much about it, but I did bet Cornucopian. I got that tip from a friend of ours. I bet that horse at 50.
Oh, no. Florida Derby's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday. I think the Arkansas Derby is on Saturday, too, at Oakland. But, yeah, we do have it up. Good handle on it. Derby, May 3rd, and we are going to be packed. We've got so many of our big race players coming in. I'm excited for that day. It's going to be awesome.
Sweet. Last question. T.O. Kyle _Cruz on X says, Jam, if you and Kelly attend the Merseyside Derby anytime in the future, what would be the over-under how many times she will say soccer is dumb?
She wouldn't. I'm not just saying this to get a rise out of sweet Kelly, the lovely KIV. She would have so much fun at the game. She would, I understand.
Fun at USA Mexico. I had the draw. It was 0-0. It was so much fun.
I don't think that she would say it's dumb at all because she'd have so much fun being.
Our good friend Rex was explaining to me how these guys can move here. These guys can move here. Here's everything that's going on. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I'm super patriotic.
Well, hopefully Kelly would be at the Merseyside Derby at Anfield, home of the Mighty Redmen. That would be awesome, Kelly. You would love it. You would love it. So I
did book my flight to Dublin today, so that is set. I will be there on August 15th through August 24th.
That's a long time. Ariel's going to be with you the whole time?
No, I don't know what Ariel is all dependent on her baseball schedule and some other things. So she's going to meet Aunt Helen and I over at some point. You have a ticket to the K-State game as well. I don't know if you're going to have enough time to go.
Aunt Helen's going to be with you the whole time?
Yeah.
Sheesh. That Aunt Helen's coming home in a body bag.
She's going to be fine.
Yikes. So we're going to do a show on Wednesday, April 2nd or Thursday, April 3rd. What do you want to do, kid?
Doesn't matter to me.
Why don't we do Thursday the 3rd, be a little bit closer to the Final Four.
Okay.
This Saturday the 5th. And then Kelly will be here next week for the national championship game. Do a Masters preview.
Do I have the double booth, like the big one, or just like a side? Because I think I need a big one.
I haven't really gotten that far, but
I need you to do that now so I know how many people I can invite.
I will get you whatever you need, man. Whatever you need. You're the star of the show. I don't think you have the authority to fire Louie without my blessing. You cannot do that.
I mean, I can just quit and then nobody has a show at all.
Well, it could be me and John. John and I will do the show.
Yes.
You're going to quit. You're going to quit the show.
I'm going to take my Xbox and go home because Louis mushed my
from Connecticut.
Future. The best future bet I've ever placed in my life, minus K-State 40-1, the year they lost to Texas A&M instead of going to the national championship game, and Notre Dame got waxed by Alabama. Should have been K-State.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
K-State would have got waxed by Alabama.
Sure, for sure. But at least I would have been able to hedge. You think I was going to hedge if it was 13.5-point favorites versus Texas A&M?
That happened to me, and it wasn't as good as your bet, but I had Dustin Johnson to win the U.S. Open. I think it was 2015, and he had I guess it was a two-putt. Yeah, two-putt would have got him to a playoff. If he made the putt, he wins. But at least if he two-putts, he gets to a playoff the next day against Jordan Spieth, and I can hedge. He three-putted. Jordan Spieth won the U.S. Open. Always been bitter about that.
All right. Well, you have to check your email, so that's our time to go.
Bye. Sorry for being busy.